Greetings, gentlemen and ladies. I am the Old School Game Snob, and in today's video I'm going to be doing what I would call a troll build series. This is taking a look at some builds which are, well, pretty fun and kind of hilarious, but wouldn't necessarily be the most viable or sensible builds. This would actually be a pretty good character in hardcore difficulty though, because she is extremely tough, extremely difficult to take down. This is Invincible Sorceress, Trolley build. Trolley Invincible Sorceress build. I know I've done a couple of Invincible Sorceresses before, but this one is even more invincible. She's an energy shield specialized sorceress, but even when the energy shield comes down, she is still extremely tanky. Here we see her without energy shield on at all, and yeah, she's only got 600 points of health. And even still, as you can see, very tanky. Energy shield goes back up 3,000 points of mana, and that energy shield is even, under this extreme assault, doing a pretty good job. And then, like I say, the energy shield goes down, and she doesn't die right away. What's going on with that? That means she's basically immune to mana burns, which was the major failing of the energy shield sorceress. For the most part. She's not without weaknesses entirely, but hey, let's take a closer look at this super fun and super duper trolley build. Alright, let's do a bit of a feature show first, starting with what I like to call a walk in the park, aka the Chaos Sanctuary. This is a unique pack doing their very best to do any damage at all to this nearly invincible trolley sorceress. And this here is probably the closest up close and personal view you would ever see of the undead Stygian dolls. You don't usually get a chance to take a close look at them, because you're usually dead if you're this close. Okay, well, you know what else is pretty tough? The Council. The Council's usually pretty tough and pretty problematic. What about if we don't even use our energy shield at all? What if we have an amplified damage? What if we stand right in the middle of all these other lightning casters, blizzard casters, hydras, and basically the entire council? Would that do any damage? Well, no, it kind of looks like we're gaining strength. That life regen that you see right there, that is not actually from a healing potion, by the way. Alright, how about the Black Souls, one of the most dangerous enemies in the entire game, voted most scary monster. Energy shield is down, by the way, and yet for some reason we're actually taking no damage at all. If anything, we are gaining strength. I'm going to talk about why that is in just a minute, but that is a part of the Trolley Invincible Sorceress. Alright. How about fully frenzied Thorn Hulks? Those are usually a problem. Usually. Okay, for what is a very defensive character, can she still bring it? Can she still dish out the damage? I would say, yeah, not too bad. She suffers with anything that isn't fire immune. That is her weakness. But hey, most characters have an immunity. Most sorceresses have one immunity that they choose to ignore. that is a way of things. Otherwise, her fire field is very effective at taking down anything that is not fire immune. Like I say, this is a fun trolley build. This isn't your best clear speed build. This isn't your best farming build. This is your fun trolley build. Let's take a look at how this is put together. Okay, so this character has many levels of defense. Level 1 is, of course, an extremely nearly maxed out all resistances: 95 lightning, 95 fire, 90 cold, and 90 poison resistance. From that, we attribute to the Guardian Angel. This gives us a 15 to maximum cold, lightning, fire, and poison resistance. Her next layer of defense is that flat physical damage reduction, that 50% damage reduced, which is where it's capped out. From that, we attribute the Storm Shield, which gives us a 35% damage reduction, and the Crown of Ages, which gives us an up to 20% damage reduction if it rolls perfectly. Now, in order to max out her resistances, we are using Wizard Spike. This gives us 75 to all resistances. It also gives us a big bonus to mana. We are also using Storm Shield, which gives us, of course, resistances, and the Crown of Ages, also giving us resistances. Any resistances that we are lacking, we can add some charms to make up for that. We are also using the Inferno Stride Boots. This gives us a bonus to fire resist and also an increase to maximum fire resist. Now normally the Guardian Angel will get our resistances up to 90%, but then when we add on Inferno Stride, that brings us up to our new maximum of 95 resistance for fire. Now that takes care of fire, which is one of the main elements that we'll be encountering that does damage in Diablo. The next main element that we encounter is of course lightning. So to help with that, we have Thunder God's Vigor. This gives us a 22 lightning absorb, as well as 10% to maximum lightning resist, getting our lightning and fire up to their maximum potential at 95, which is as high as we can get those. Now you remember a little bit earlier how the Council's Hydras were not hurting us, how the Dark Souls were not hurting us. That is attributed to the 20 lightning absorb. Basically that lightning absorb turns any lightning damage that comes through our 95% damage reduction and turns it into healing, and also reduces it as well. So effectively, since we have such a massive amount of lightning resist, plus a little bit of lightning absorb, we're basically getting healing from any lightning attacks. Also, we are using the Rising Sun. This is probably not one that you see used very often, but this gives us a huge 72 to fire absorb. Again, same principle as lightning absorb, since we have 95% fire resist. Basically, any damage that comes through that is fire is turned into healing. In addition to that, the main reason that I'm using the Rising Sun is actually for that replenish life, although the fire absorb is a huge bonus of that as well. But that replenish life is nice because it helps to just keep that little tick of healing coming onto our character. And the reason that's good is because we only take such small amounts of damage. Instead of constantly drinking potions to heal a tiny bit of damage, instead we just have that nice little passive healing regen, which is nice. Now, the other part of our gear has to do with flat damage reduction and how that works in combination with our energy shield. So I have socketed a soul rune into the Guardian Angel. I've socketed 2 soul runes into the Crown of Ages and 1 soul rune into the Storm Shield. That gives an effective damage reduced, flat physical damage reduction of 28. And since our energy shield is reducing so much damage right now, as you can see, basically no damage comes through from smaller melee hits. So additionally, since our energy shield, our mana, becomes our health pool with energy shield, we want to keep that up and get that up as high as possible. A nice high mana makes it recharge much faster. And so in order to accomplish that, we are putting on some Frostburn Gauntlets, which increase maximum mana by 40%. We're also using the Stone of Jordan Ring times 2. You don't need this much. You can get away with a lot less. But hey, this is the trolley fun build version, right? So we're just having fun here. I've also used Call to Arms. That gets the mana up a nice amount as well. Also helps us with our rather low health pool. And so all combined, your mana recharges so quickly, even when you don't have your Mercenary's Insight aura, that it's just ridiculous. It's so fun, it's so trolly. I love this character. So that basically covers the gear. And now the other thing you'll want to stack is mana and life charms, particularly, get a few hundred more points of mana, a few hundred more points of life. Whatever you can stack in there is perfectly great. Into the skill build, here's how we look. We have a max warmth, 20 points into warmth. That is because it increases our mana regeneration, and our mana shield is our hit point pool to some degree. Like I say, many layers of defense on this character, but this is the first layer of defense. After that, we have put 20 points into Fire Wall. That is because it synergizes with our defense skill, and it's actually super powerful. Just with 20 points into it. And then we put 10 points into Fire Mastery. That is because we are saving some points for some other places. It would be nice to max out Fire Mastery, but we don't really need it. Stuff dies quickly enough with that 10,000 damage per second. Beyond that, into the lightning skill tree, quite simply, we have 20 points into Energy Shield and 20 points into its Synergy Telekinesis. Telekinesis, if you've seen some of my previous videos, reduces damage taken to mana, and at 20 points, 20 hard points, it reduces damage by 25%. So you only take 75% of the damage to your mana that you would have taken to your health. So this effectively gives us damage reduction by maxing Telekinesis. And with a max Energy Shield, we've got about 83% damage absorption. This applies before resistance. This applies before anything. This is your first line of defense in terms of taking damage. Actually, not quite. We're gonna get into that in just a second, though. Into the cold skill tree, we have put we've put about 8 points into Shiver Armor. It's kind of whatever you have left over can go into Shiver Armor. This is to get our defense up. let's take a look at our defense while we're on the topic. So this is actually our first line of defense. Our defense basically is our first line of defense, whether or not we get hit in the first place. And with a nice high armor level, thank you very much to our Guardian Angel, to our Crown of Ages, to our Storm Shield. And then add Shiver Armor onto that, you get a nice high 6,000 defense, which gives you a pretty decent chance to avoid being hit. Only 28% to be hit by enslaved. That's, 2% of damage that misses right off the bat. Great. But what about that damage that gets through our defense? Well, that is why we have gotten our dexterity up. Actually, this should be about 160. That gives us a 65% chance to block with our lovely handy dandy storm shield. So damage that gets through defense also has a good chance of being blocked, and that is before any of our additional defense layers even kick in. Otherwise, for our stats, enough strength to wear the gear. The Guardian Angel is the highest strength piece. The storm shield helps with that by giving some additional strength, 30 strength, so you get your strength up to 156. This will give you plus 30 more, and then you only need another 10 points, I believe, to get up to the 195 strength for Guardian Angel. After that, dexterity, enough to kind of get your block to where you want it to be, kind of maxed out. And then after that, all the rest of your points go into energy to get that energy shield up. As for your Mercenary, there's a couple of ways you can do this. The Defiance Aura is fun. That gets your armor level up to, your defense level up to a ridiculous amount. The Prayer Aura is actually fun too. That helps with poison damage that gets through. Any poison damage that gets through is massively compensated for by that prayer. And since this character's main weakness is poison damage that gets through, even though her poison resistance is up, even though it's up to 90% poison resistance, that poison damage still does tick away at her little health pool. And so getting a counter to that, like I say, that's where the Rising Sun helps a bit with that replenished life, but also the Prayer Aura with that with your Mercenary also helps a lot to keep your health up against poison. So you might opt on that. You might also opt on the Defiance Aura, which just gets your armor level up and makes you take a lot less melee damage. You might also want your Mercenary to help with anything that is fire immune, so you might want to get him a Might Aura. Additionally, you can gear up your Mercenary kind of however you want. But if you decide on using something like Insight, suddenly your mana regeneration becomes so ridiculous that there's almost no way you can die, unless your Mercenary dies, which is pretty much what will happen. Anyway, that about wraps up this video. To have a little bit of fun on the way out, I thought we would try our hand at the cow level here. Already our defense is up to 13,000, 21% chance to be hit by the Hell Bovine. The main challenge is going to be in keeping my Mercenary alive, although he's going to have a pretty good time at this, and that is because he's also got a nice big armor buff as well. So if he stays alive, then I also get to keep my nice armor buff. And basically these cows, yeah, they're going to moo a lot, but that's about all they're going to do. They're going to moo, and then they're going to move on out of the way. That doesn't make any sense. That's not even funny. I was hoping it might be, but it wasn't. Oh well, try again next time. Yeah, Fire Field. Fire Field is pretty powerful, even without Fire Mastery being maxed out. Like I said, we've only got 10 hard points into it, but still, this is pretty fast for a fun trolley build for a nearly invincible Sorceress character. This is actually very playable, right? If I were going to make a hardcore character, and I think that's what I'm going to do next, I think I'm going to do a hardcore Let's Play playthrough. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a hardcore Let's Play. And if you do, I kind of think that this might just be the build that I shoot for, because yeah, in hardcore you don't want to die. I even forgot my battle orders, which will help. Not that it seems to be mattering, because yeah, man oh man, what is that? 13,000 defense. By the way, guys, if you don't know this already, when you move, your defense rating goes away. When you run, it goes away. If you walk, it doesn't go away, it stays up. Or if you stand still, of course, your defense rating stays up. I don't know, how long can we stand here, do you think? Probably a little while. Probably until that Defiance Aura goes down. Should we just stand here and see how tough we are? That's the fun part of this build, just being so tough. I don't know what's going on in there, but it looks like our Mercenary's okay. It looks like we're taking like no damage at all. Yeah, there's their energy shield orb, so for sure she's in there somewhere. Anyway, this build is a lot of fun. So I hope you guys like this this build. Like I say, maybe not the most practical or viable, but kind of fun and trolly. And this was a series idea that I was thinking about is sort of just fun trolley builds. You know, like I don't know. You got to make your own fun sometimes in these games, right? So I was thinking fun trolley builds. If you guys like that idea, again, let me know in the comments. I'll try to think of some more like this. Otherwise, hey, I think we've proven a point here. These cows are no match for the invincible trolley sorceress. All right, have a great day, guys.